Hello, what up guys? How you doing? It is Lasty here. Welcome today to a new episode of the FIFA 20 Ultimate Team Road to Glory. This is episode number 78. Now, if you missed yesterday's episode, make sure you go and check it out. It was jam-packed full of lots of good stuff. You definitely don't want to miss that one. And you can pause it and then come back over to here once you're done. And hit that thumbs up button. If you do enjoy today's episode, show your support. Let's get 2,500 likes on this Wednesday. So, sub to the channel if you are new, click on the notification bell, all of that good stuff. So basically this is the team that we built, right? You guys, if you did see yesterday's episode, know that we've made a couple of significant purchases. One of an SBC route of going down for David Villa, and two is to get George Best into the squad because he was someone that I wanted to try out, and he was also someone that a lot of you wanted me to use when I asked on Twitter. So that's pretty cool. So Gareth Bale finally sold, allowing me to have enough coins to then go out and buy myself Ter Stegen back again, because he is the best goalkeeper on the game, and I felt most safe with him. I don't really feel safe with any goalkeeper. But if there was one that I feel a little bit more comfortable with than anyone, it would probably be him, I would say. So yeah, welcome back to Stegen. I've gone for a blue one this time because it was like 2,000 coins more to get than the gold one. And who knows, maybe he'll be staying a long time, but I always know that that's like a 50k player that I've got should I need a quick 50k to help finish an SBC or whatever. So I could always sell him knowing that I have got Oblak to fall back on. So today is all about going into division rivals and trying to figure out. I've got some tough decisions to make because obviously David Villa he's kind of like an out-and-out striker. People are telling me that George Best is someone that could really be played at striker. And Neymar has been amazing at striker for me. So I've got this tough decision of like these three players that I don't know. Maybe I would consider George Best. Like, I don't really necessarily think of him as a striker, but people have told me that his shooting is godly, so I have to try him there. So maybe my decision is made a little bit easier by not using him at striker going forwards. By the way, I score a lovely green-timed top spin free kick with Roberto Carlos there. Look at that. It actually had so much dip. I wish I could have aimed even higher so that it could have gone in the top corner. Yeah, what a free kick from Roberto Carlos. What a beast. But anyway, yeah, so my decision may be made slightly easier by like knowing that I want to play George Best at cam. But in the 4-2-3-1, who goes out wide? Obviously, Griezmann's one of my wide cams. But then do you sort of miss out a little bit on George Best if you play him as a wide cam? What about David Villa? Is he wasted as a wide cam? These are like the tough decisions that I've got. So one thing I did think about, and we'll get to it halfway through this episode, is another change of formation, another decision to make as to whether or not we can play in a different formation. So we'll get to that going forwards. But the next game here, we come up against, I mean, it's a really nice team. You know, I reckon he's got some Prem players in there to try and get certain Prem goals. But other than that, he had Neymar and Messi, and he subbed the Prem players straight off. I'm not going to lie. He brought on, I think after I had this chance in the 4th minute, he paused it and then went to go ahead and bring on some more elite players. So as you can see, Militao and PK come on instead of Matip and whoever else it was. But I couldn't quite score against this guy, and it was a pretty even first half. You know, we were having a fairly good game. I could tell that he was a competent player and that this one was going to be tough. And then in the second half was when, I mean, I think I got fouled there, if I'm honest, but so be it. It doesn't really matter because it's rivals. I try not to care too much. It does stress me out still, but I try to not hold that much of a grudge over my opponents when I get beaten in rivals, because it's just not it's not worth it really, is it? Now I need to turn my phone on silent because you guys don't want to hear any beeps throughout this video, really, do you? So we'll go on Do Not Disturb mode. But yeah, I get Ousmane Dembele'd, and that is a common occurrence. That happened to me in the weekend league as well. I got hat-tricked on. 3 goals from Ousmane Dembele. I tried to score one there. I don't know, maybe if I should have shot maybe with David Villa. But until I get used to exactly what I'm doing here, I mean, like, Villa shows great striker type plays in that little section there going forwards. He had a lot of pace, he held the defender off and clinically finished the ball. I just feel like Neymar isn't as Neymar's just so useful for me at striker, and I feel like I'd be wasting him a little bit if I wasn't playing him there. Um, yeah, it's such a tough one because we've just got these players that you can't play everyone centrally and as your most forward player. And the formation doesn't exist like that where everyone just like gloops up top. And obviously that would create other issues that you wouldn't have passing outlets and stuff. But yeah, it's just I'll find a way. I'll figure out who's best. We've done the David Villa SBC now, so he's staying, isn't he? Neymar is staying as well. So the one player that is a little bit like adjustable, I could sell if I wanted to. I could try something else if I wanted to. Is actually George Best. And that is because like he is the player, he's the Garrincha from last week. He's that player that I have a million coins set into, that should there be something else cool come out, or if I have another little idea of like, oh, this player would work here, then he can be one of those players that just gets offloaded. But I would like to kind of try and keep him up to the weekend league and use this squad for the weekend league, use this attack for the weekend league, but you're probably noticing it throughout this video. A lot of these games, I struggled to score goals, and I struggled to just like have that killer instinct that I had in the first 9 games of the weekend league, and you know, some of the division rivals matches that I played last week. But George Best is effectively Garrincha with better shooting. Yeah, he's got less skills, and maybe that's an issue. Maybe I thrive by having a 5-star skiller that I can do the running scoop turn, because I do that a lot with Neymar. I did that a lot with Garrincha. I did it a lot with Mbappe as well, of course. So maybe that's something to note going forwards for maybe next week or something. But yeah, it's a tough decisions at the moment to, you know, figure out what formation is best, who goes where, how do we get the best out of these players, because I don't want to waste one of them as a wide cam. I don't want to, you know, say, see you later, David Villa, you have to play out wide and then not really get that involved. But I suppose in a 4-2-3-1, they still get more involved than in the 4-4-2, which was my bread and butter up until last weekend. This game right here was so very difficult. I almost wonder, right, after the last few couple of days, the last few games of Rivals that I've played, I wonder if a pro player has put out some new custom tactics or something that I've not seen. Because it feels like everyone is on constant pressure. That's how the best way I can possibly describe it, is that when I'm moving forwards, there is like Kantes and all sorts like just hounding me down, and I don't have any space. So I just wonder if like there's something else that's come out that's like, oh, this formation and custom tactics setup is OP. And if so, I need to find that and get that in use before the weekend league, because yeah, sometimes you get people on drop back 1 depth that just don't pressure you. And then sometimes you get people that, I mean, maybe they're still on drop back or whatever, but they just hound you down and you get literally no time on the ball. And with the way passing is this year, you have to be like facing the direction of the person you're passing to. Otherwise it's going to go awry. It's not going to go right. So when people are just hounding you down all the time with high pressure, that's a very difficult thing to maintain possession, you know. Anyway, we get given a penalty there. George Best gets taken down, but David Villa's got better penalty stats, so I decided to take with him in this particular one. And it does put us 1-0 up. Neymar is now running through as well, knocking it back to David Villa into George Best. Some nice dribbling and a decent shot. And I'm really hoping for the patch sometime soon, because I'm hoping some of those finesses and some of those outside of the box shots are a little bit more accurate. But that one went over the bar for me. Down the other end, though, my opponent had no trouble whatsoever sticking the ball in the back of the back of the net with Lacazette. And then, well, we finally get a goal here. I think there was a little bit of luck involved in that one, a little bit of a ruckus going on between some of the defenders and my players there, but we managed to somehow come away with the ball, and Georgie Best does stick it into the back of the net. So we held on and get a very tough but very well fought 2-1 victory. And those are the types of games I'm having in Rivals at the moment. It is just so very difficult. What I feel like I'm playing is people that are in, or like have been in Division 1 or Division 2 that are really just better than me, but they relegated themselves to get objectives done, and now they're on the come up again. I just feel like that's what I'm matching right now, because I can't even imagine, with the difficulty of the levels of games that I've been playing this week, I can't even imagine downgrading my team to try and do objectives like this time next month or whatever, if we get another set of icon swaps. I can't imagine doing it because I would just lose every game. Like, this is my out and out strong team, and I'm struggling. It's mad. Anyway, we sold our Liga NOS players because I don't plan on doing the Liga NOS SBC, at least not yet anyway. Is it Bataglia or whoever the Argentine centre mid is that is in the League SBC for Liga NOS? Looks very, very good. And also the two players from the Serie A SBC that came out last night also look pretty decent, in my opinion. Two pretty good players. We've got Roberto Carlos, so the left back Dalbert does nothing for me. But the other guy, I can't remember. Is it? I actually can't remember his name. It begins with a T. Tonelli? I'm not sure. But basically, yeah, an Italian CDM who does look very, very solid. But I'm sure that League SBC, like always, is a little bit overpriced. Lots of people going, like, hyping it up and stuff, which is, putting the price up more and more and more. So, the next thing to happen in this episode is for me to bring in myself this Frankie de Jong. So the other formation that I thought I could work with would be potentially the 4-1-2-1-2 again. We did try it once before, and that was when I was really trying to get my fullbacks involved, and I realised that actually I don't know if that's a great idea or not. But when I was saying to you earlier that I have this whole craziness going on in the middle where I feel like I've got nothing to work with and I'm just getting bullied and constant pressured. Maybe what we need to do is go on the 4-1-2-1-2 so that we've got little passing options when we are central. And of course, to do that, we would need to not play Griezmann in the starting 11, but to bring in Frankie de Jong, which I think is fine. Like, Frankie's good. I've used him a couple of times before. I've used the special version, but his stats are pretty much the same. I got the blue version of him again for like 1 or 2k more than the gold. But yeah, like, maybe that is a plan. So what we've got there is two pretty decent ball players in Frankie and good dribbling and stuff on Paulinho, but very good box-to-box players. And then we can play two of our new players up front with that one player drop back in the cam spot. And that player for me is going to be George Best. Knowing that David Villa is more of an out-and-out striker, Neymar has performed so well for me at striker, maybe this is the one. And we actually go 1-0 up in our very first game of trying the 4-1-2-1-2. But we leak a goal at the back. I mean, kind of unfortunate that ter Stegen doesn't get a leg on that, and he does pass it through to score the goal. But a great ball through there from David Villa, and Neymar, again, just showing that his attacking positioning, his finishing on both feet, and just like his pace and everything is just superb. I absolutely love him. And yeah, it's just one of them players, isn't he? He's just an absolute god tier player on this game. So we get a 2-1 win. Again, that was fairly well thought out. You know, we had more of the chances and 10 shots on target, but still, it was goal from Neymar, and I can't remember who scored the first one. Was it? I think it was actually both Neymar in that game, but good balls through from like David Villa and whatnot. So the 4-1-2-1-2 instantly gave me a victory, which is nice. But we move on. It could be tough to get anything, and this was the most boring game I've played for this week. So as you can see here, we're in the 67th minute at 0-0. I finally get through with George Best, take that strike with a 90 shooting player, and it hits the post, and I'm just like, what? Come on, give me the shooting patch. Give it to me immediately. I need this. So we actually draw 0-0. What an absolute bore fest that was. Yeah, just genuinely really boring. I don't ever have 0-0 draws, so that was definitely a first for me, I think. Probably the first one I've literally had all year long. We go into another game. This guy's obviously doing the Brazilian the icon swap objective to his detriment, because obviously I'm using my full team. It happens. I get a goal with Neymar after a few minutes, a good little ball through from George Best, and obviously a lovely chip first time there to put me 1-0 up. Can we go through and try and score again? Neymar gets sived down in the box, and that's going to give me a penalty. Step up with David Villa again. This time I just try a Panenka, just chip it down the middle and hope that he was going to dive, and of course he did. So we get the goal there to go 2-0 up. George Best then weaving his way through defenders, and it hits the post again. I hope he's not hit the post merchant. I really hope not, because it could be a tough weekend league coming up for us, couldn't it? And then David Villa with a little bit of like finesse and stuff, rainbow flicking. My opponent had obviously had enough, realised that he probably wasn't going to get the victory in this game. and moved on for his own benefit, obviously, to try and get his objectives done quicker, which I don't blame him for in the slightest. So then we go into the next game. Solid meta-looking squad. There is an Mbappe in there. There's also a Mertens with a an attribute card on it, and I don't know if you saw that right there, but that was a beautiful little back heel through ball from Georgie Best to play in Neymar right there. It was a solid ball for him and a lovely little goal. And then David Villa gets 2 goes at it, 2 stabs at it, and he finally sticks it in the back of the net. 2-0 up after 37 minutes. Things are looking good. Neymar then pushes through, knocks it back down to Georgie Best, and we are able to get a finesse shot that doesn't hit the post this time. Georgie Best scores to put me 3-0 up in this game, and things are actually looking good. You know, that's kind of what happens, right? You go through a spell of having tough games, and then all of a sudden a couple of them feel quite easy. You manage to score a few goals. It's almost like things just finally click. So that's why I don't want to read too much into the struggles of division rivals. It's just something that you play during the week because 1, I need content, and 2, I need to test out my new players before the weekend league. But I don't necessarily want to like rate my players too much based on their rivals' gameplay because you could be playing anyone. I feel like a lot of the time I'm playing people way above my skill level. And if that's the case, yeah, I'm going to come away with a loss. But it's not the fault of George Best. It's not the fault of David Villa. They might be absolutely superb when I finally get myself into the weekend league. But yeah, for now, I don't want to rate them too low based on the performances today. I mean, when you look at it, 6 contributions in 10 from George Best is not good. 9 contributions in 10 from David Villa is all right, but a couple of them are penalties, I think. So it's like, it's not a great start, and time will tell. You know, David Villa, I think, is staying in the squad for the long run. We could replace George Best with, I don't know, Figo or another right winger, or we could line the team up differently to make it work better. Like, and literally time will tell with that stuff. So we will, of course, keep going. I think tomorrow's episode I'll probably do like the UEFA marquee matchups and all of those SBCs. Hopefully we can get some good players from that, and then maybe a little bit more rivals gameplay. Again, testing back the 4-2-3-1, testing the 4-1-2-1-2. What can I make work? Who can I make work in the best positions? Ready for the weekend league, and then of course you'll see rewards as well coming up in the next couple of days. Guys, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Let's go for 2,500 likes today. You can sub to the channel if you are new for free. It's all good, and of course don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. The links are down below. Make sure that you all have a wonderful day out there. I'll catch you tomorrow with another episode. Peace.